Guys, this is going to be a long video. There's a lot of information and I'm just only going to scratch the surface. So once you guys have the time, sit down, have a coffee, have a beer, and then watch the video. Other guys, I hope all of you are safe and indoors with this COVID-19. It's been really frustrating for me. I've been, I don't know, boredom has got me and I've got serious withdrawal to go and fish. Another thing that I've been thinking of, and I've seen it on YouTube before, and I've seen some of the guys do it, is some live chat. So I don't know if you guys would be interested in doing a live chat, and I can set my camera up and I can log in and I can chat with you guys live. You can ask me questions, anything. Is there a certain topic that you guys want to discuss? Is there just general questions? Maybe we can do a live chat and we can chat a bit, and and I don't know, we've got a lot of time. There's still 11 days left, so maybe that's something that we can consider, doing a bit of a live chat, and we can communicate. I can communicate with you guys and you can ask all your questions. But as promised, I'm going to do a breakdown video today of my personal tackle and what do I use and why do I use them, certain combinations and all sorts of stuff. Before I start this video, I'd just like to say that none of this video is sponsored by any of the products that I'm going to mention. This is simply a breakdown of the tackle that I use and that I prefer to use. So with that out of the way, there's been a lot of questions, or I've been asked a lot of questions about rods and reels and what tackle to buy and what rod and what reel and what combination and all sorts of things like that. And probably the most frequent question that I get asked is, Zander, I want to buy one rod and I want to catch everything on it. Well, this is the sad news, that there is no such rod on the market, especially if you want to target from a galjoen or your smaller edibles right up to a big bronzy or a big shark. You're going to be either over tackled for the galjoen or smaller edible fish, or you're going to be undergunned or under geared for the big bronzy. You're not going to get your bait out far enough. You're not going to pull that fish as hard as you should. So there is certain rods that's a good rod, or all-rounder rod, an all-rounder combination. What the hell? There is certain rods and reels and combinations that's a good all-rounder setup within a certain targeted species bracket. Like you can target from cob, bigger cob, steenies, to smaller bronzies, smaller non-eds, and then you get a good all-rounder setup for just edibles fishing, ranging from smaller reef species and smaller fish like your galjoen up to cob, steenies, and it's segmented. And then you get your heavy tackle that's for non-edibles, and you can have a good all-rounder for non-ed, ranging from hammerhead sharks all the way to big bronzies, big ragged-tooth shark, black rays, and that sort of stuff. So you can categorize them in different setups. And the way that I fish, I like to fish species specific. So by that I mean I like to target a certain species using the right tackle and the right gear and the right setup for that species. You guys don't need to buy all this stuff and all this tackle. If you are a non-edible angler, or you do a bit of both, you can have two setups and you can go a very long way with two setups. But I'll suggest two setups and you'll be sorted. One setup to catch everything, it's not going to work unless you're only an edible angler, or unless you're only a non-edible angler. Then you can get away with it. But for me, I like to use, basically every time that I go and fish, I will have 2 or 3 setups with me, because the day will turn out into, I'm going for cob and there's no cob and I'll end up fishing for non-eds, or I'm going for galjoen and there's no galjoen, or the formation is washed in such a way that it looks beautiful or steeny and for a cob. And I don't want to be sitting there with only my light stuff and not be able to reach that cob bank or that steeny bank. So yeah, let's get into this, guys. There's been my preferred reels that I use, as you guys can see, are Shimano's, and the rods that I prefer to use are Assassin. In all of my videos you'll see I use Assassin rods all the way. Every now and then in the winter time I'll go and I'll use some of my pen spin fishers, just to save my Stellas and twin powers from scratching and all that sort of stuff, and save them up for the summertime. But my general fishing arsenal consists out of Shimano's, twin powers, Stellas, and then Assassins, the whole range of Assassins. Well, Assassin has a huge range of rods. It caters from your entry-level guys to right up to your Protea anglers, very competitive anglers. So there's a rod for everyone in the market, and a rod for everyone in the market targeting certain species, from ultra light stuff right up to your triple XH heavy shark rods, spinning rods, popping rods, jigging rods. They have a complete range of rods. I just love using the rods, and yeah, I have selected 7 rods that I use most frequently. I'm not going to run down through all of my tackle and all of my reels. I'm just going to use the stuff that you guys will most probably see in most of my videos and all of my videos. This is the stuff that I use basically all the time. So as I go through, I'm going to start with the lighter stuff and then run down through to the heavier stuff, and I'm going to do the combinations as how I use them, and with what I use them, what braid thickness, and how I might change them from winter to summer, and summer to early summer to late summer, and targeting different species and different fish. So first off, I'm going to start off with the Assassin Bluefish. The Assassin Bluefish is predominantly an edible rod. As the rod states, it's a Bluefish special. So this rod was basically designed for fish like Bluefish, your Bluefish, what we call bronze bream, and Galjoen. I use it for those 2 species, Galjoen and bronze bream. Every now and then I'll use it on the surf for bellman, for cob, for steenies, if there's not a long bank, or bank is too far, but you can reach quite a distance with this rod. On this Bluefish special, I'll play either a 8000 twin power, a 8000 biomaster, or when I'm fishing Galjoen, sometimes you'll see me, I'll pair it up with a pen spin fisher 6.5. On the pen fisher 6.5, I'll have 40 pound braid on it, and on the twin powers I fish 30 pound. And earlier in the video I mentioned that I always have 2 or 3 setups with me. When I go out and to fish for edibles for the day, specifically targeting edibles during the winter, I'd use the combination of my Evo medium heavy and my Bluefish special. So getting to that, let's talk about the Evo medium heavy specifically. Well, the Evo medium heavy is also made of high modulus carbon, the HMC2 by Assassin. That's why it's called that's why it's in the zero range. Comes standard fitted with a bionic finger, and braid friendly guides already. And I'm not going to go into too much detail of how the components are made and from what materials and stuff. I'm just going to talk about what you're using this for. So on this Evo, most of the time I'll put my 10,000 twin power on it, usually the older model 10,000 or the new shape twin power. Also I'll fish it with either 30 pound or 40 pound. Usually it will be like a 30 pound that I can throw quite a lucky distance, going to reach those back banks, fishing for carp, fishing for steenies, and I use it quite a lot when I'm fishing for Galjoen and there's a reef on the outside and there is a pinnacle or just some sort of structure that I need to throw to, and I need a bit of a longer throw. That's where the 14 foot comes in, and it throws really well, and it's a really sensitive rod. I don't feel any overgunned or too heavy fishing with it for edible fish. And you guys will see there's 3 twin powers and 3 Stellas on this table. I'll get to that, the Stellas, later on. And you'll see there's an extra spool, twin power spool, and there's an extra Stellas spool on this table as well. What I love about the twin powers, the 8000 and the 10,000 and the 14,000, is that all three of those spools fit on the three bodies. The 8000, the 10,000 and the 14,000, they all fit on each other. And I don't really like to use the 14,000 for rock and surf fishing. That's why I don't have a 14,000 for rock and surf fishing. I prefer the 10,000s because the 10,000 comes standard with the power gear. And when you're fishing rock and surf, it's not all about speed. You need that extra cranking power rather than speed. And you can feel the difference when you're fishing with a 10,000 and a 14,000. When you're fishing with that 10,000, you can feel that power gear. I've used my 10,000s to catch big raggartooth sharks with a 7-ounce sinker and a big yellowtail head. And once you reel out that big yellowtail head and a 7-ounce sinker, you don't need to pull and wind. You can just start winding, and that reel just does the work for you, and you can crank it in. And you can definitely feel the difference between the 14,000 and the 10,000 where the power gear comes in. That the 14,000 is the XD, that's the extra fast XG, that's the extra fast gear. So that's more used for popping and spinning. You'll see the popping and spinning guys, or the spinning guys, popping and jigging. They use them more often and more frequently. For rock and surf, I prefer the 10,000s. That's why I bought myself an extra 10,000 spool. I can fit that 10,000 spool onto my 8,000, and I can fit it onto a 10,000. Looks beautiful. During the winter, during the summer, I'll have all three of these 10,000s filled with 30 pound, and my 14,000 spool, I'll either have 30 pound or 40 pound, but majority of the time also 30 pound, because these are the reels that I'll use in the summer to get either a lot of distance, or I'm going to use it for cob. That's basically what I use it for, maybe some carrick and stuff. Okay, back to the Evo. Evo, to me, it's a brilliant cob rod. It's basically one of the best cob rods that I've fished with. I'm usually fishing it with a small chocker bait, and occasionally I'll throw a live bait or two with it. What makes this rod such an amazing cob rod is the parabolic bend in the rod. So for the guys that doesn't know what a parabolic bend is it bends right from the butt section straight through the tip. So you don't have like a stiff rod at the back, and it's only the tip bending. When you're fishing with braid, you need that rod not to have minimal flex. You need that rod to actually do this, because there's no stretch in the braid. Your rod needs to do the work for you, and your rod needs to absorb whatever head shakes. You need the parabolic bend and that flex of the rod to absorb all the shakes and the head shakes of the fish, because your braid doesn't have any stretch in it. That's why you need to rely on your rod to absorb some of the shakes. Otherwise you're going to pull the hooks every time, especially when you're fishing for cob. They shake a lot, and you need to keep your rod up high, and that rod does the work for you. So now we're moving over to the Horizon Zeros. See there, this is the heavy. You also get a medium and a medium heavy, but that medium heavy and the heavy, the medium heavy and the medium, I can do the exact same thing with these two rods. So in my arsenal at this stage, I don't need a medium heavy and a medium. If you guys are serious edible anglers and only fish edibles, I'll strongly suggest that you guys have a look at the medium and the medium heavy. They are brilliant rods for edibles, ranging from galleon straight through steenies, cob, you name it. They're brilliant edible rods. Now we're starting to move over more to like your medium type of setups. This is where you'll start using maybe them for some non-eds, but not flat out for non-eds. My heavy, I use it for a lot of different styles and a lot of different type of fishing. You'll see me pair it with my Evo when I fish for cob and steenies. I like to have two rods, one rod to throw a live bait, one rod to throw a bait, I'll peg the live bait in a rod stand, and then I'll just fish with my other rod, throwing bait, scratching around this bank, inside of the bank, in the inside of the gutter, on the outside of the gutter, on the outside of the bank, the side of the bank. You know, just trying to find the fish and try to find where the fish are holding. And this is where I use my Horizon Heavy Zero. I'll throw live baits with this for cob, or if I'm trying to fish for a big cob and I want to use bigger baits like you know, half ockies, big chocker baits, big bulky baits, I like to use my Horizon Heavy. And also during early summertime and for league fishing, I use this rod quite a lot in league fishing. In early summer I use them for the smaller bronzies, for hammers, Blu-rays, and it's got a lot of backbone, this little rod. You don't mistake this little rod or underestimate this rod. The amount of backbone that this little rod has is amazing. The only reason I'm not using it flat out for big fish is the capability of throwing a really big bait, and it can throw it, but I'm not going to get the distance with this, for instance, like I'm going to get with my double SH. But this is an amazing rod from your crossover from your edibles, larger edibles, over into the non-edibles or the smaller non-edible section. Blu-rays, hound sharks, hammerhead sharks, smaller bronzies, that sort of stuff. This is where it's lacquer. And also when I'm fishing competitive, I like to use this as my scratching rod, throwing double hook traces for lessers. When I need to fish for cob, it's light enough to fish for cob, and when I need to change over to hammerheads, I can fish it with this rod. Usually I'll pair this with, when I'm fishing edibles, I'll use my 10,000 twin power, and the majority of the times when I'm fishing leagues, I'll use either the 10,000 or this 14,000 spool on the 10,000, also a 30 pound, and then I'll use like a 100 pound leader, maybe pushing it to 120 pound leader, and most of the time I'll fish a 100 pound leader. Then you'll see I have this little quick release clip on here, and that makes it a lot easier when fishing competitive. When I have to switch over from a double hook trace catching for lessers, then all of a sudden I need to go over the lip and I need to fish for a hammerhead, or I want to throw a single hook to the bank, I can just unclip my trace and clip my new other trace in. These clips were sent to me by Jefferson Leroux. He said it's under, test them, try them. It's actually designed for lures. I've used them in Angola for fishing with with lures, and they work really lacquer. And I started using them in the surf, especially on leagues when I need to chop and change my traces, targeting different species and different fish. This will be an edible combination, and this would start to move over to my non-eds. So often when I fish a league, I'll use these three together: my double XH Horizon, my extra heavy, and my heavy. So, but in between, you still get the Evo heavy. Guys, I just want to turn this around. So if there's one rod to basically catch everything, this rod is very capable of doing so. It's not ideal for edible fish like galoon and, you know, scratching around reef and stuff. But if you're fishing for mussel cracker, steenbras, white steenbras, cob, this rod can do it. It's sensitive enough, it's light enough, it's thin enough, it has the parabolic bend, it throws lacquer. And also moving into non-edibles, I've got big raggies on it before. I've thrown yellowtail heads on it. It throws it really nice. I've got diamonds on it, hammerheads, Blu-rays, you name it. I've got everything on this rod. I absolutely love this rod. This is a great rod. If you're not certain what rod to get or what to buy, this is an absolute amazing rod to catch big sharks, medium sharks, big big edibles. And what I love about this is on your heavy, a 20,000 is a bit bulky and it's a bit too big, and I just use like a 10,000 with maybe a 14,000 spool on this rod. But what is amazing about the Evo heavy is that you can pair your 10,000 with a 14,000 spool, or just a 10,000, or you can pair it with a 20,000, and you can fish for really big bronzies and really big black rays, anything. It can handle this perfectly. And this is basically the rod that's the most versatile out of the range, I'll say. And I use this either for also with my medium heavy, also with my heavy. I'll use it to throw live baits, or on leagues I'll use it to fish for hammerheads, smaller bronzies, blue rays. And if I hook a big ducky of 70-80 kilos, this rod is more capable of landing any size duckbill. Or even if I need to throw for a raggy, and I throw for a raggy and I hook a big black ray and a big bronzy, this rod is more than capable of landing it. So I absolutely love this rod. I use it quite a lot, especially in competitive angling, because it is so versatile. And I'll say the Horizon XH is probably the most sold rod in the assassin range, especially amongst competitive anglers. Guys, this rod it's an absolute machine of a rod. It's getting a bit on the heavy side for edible fishing. Maybe when I'm fishing a league and I don't have any of my other tackle, I will use this for a cob, maybe scratching. But this is more going over to your heavy side of things, going over to long throws for hammerheads, diamonds, and you need to pull fish really hard, and you need to fight fish for long periods of time. This XH is an absolute beautiful rod. It can catch. On the non-ed side, it is the rod that you're going to buy if you want to catch everything. It's not a specific rod for just big bronzies, just big raggies, just big black rays, or just smaller non-eds. This rod you can do anything with for when you're fishing non-eds. So it's not, like I said earlier, I like to fish species specific, but this rod, if I need to go and fish for non-eds and I have to take one rod, it will be my XH. I can throw a big bait with it with ease. I can pull a fish really hard. You've seen me catch a big black ray on it, and it handles it beautifully. And what is lucky about this as well, you can pair it with a 10,000, a 14,000. You can pair it with a 20,000 Stellar. Most of the time you'll see me using my 20,000 Stellar on it. So this is where the second spool comes in again. I'll have my Stellar, my 3 Stellas basically. I have an extra spool for my Stellas. This spool here has 50 pound JDB Ultra Tough on it. That I basically use in the surf for big fish, big raggies, big black rays, big bronzies, anything. And on the rocks, when I need a lot of distance with a big bait, not fishing for smaller fish, fishing for big fish, I'll go over to the 50 pound. And then also on my one spool I have 50 pound COVID. That's quite a smooth braid, thin, throws very well. So if I need a long distance throw with a big bait in the surf, I'll go over to my 50 pound JDB COVID. And then I always have one reel with either 65 pound or 80 pound braid on, and that will be obviously paired with my double XH or triple XH, fishing for big fish, fishing for, you know, rugged areas, massive sharks, massive stingrays. And also I have the older Stellar. I love this reel as well. On this spool I have 40 pound JDB COVID. What's also awesome about this, I can use all 4 of these spools on this, all 3 of these spools on this reel as well. I can use this spool on all 3 of these reels as well. So I don't need to take 2 or 3 reels with me. I can just take one Stellar and I can take 3 spools and I can do everything I want with them. That 40 pound, there's a good reason why I have this 40 pound on a 20,000 spool. I've got 600 meters of 50 pound backing on here, and then 300 meters of 40 pound JDB COVID. So when I'm fishing for hammerheads and I know there's a very big chance of hooking into something different like a big duckbill. It's a long wade. Coming back, I'm basically 300 meters out. I need that 600 meters when that fish takes me and he's heading for the south pole, that I have the backing and I have the surety that I have enough line on my reel and I'm not going to get stripped, or at some stage hold on too hard to the fish, because you're not fishing too heavy. You need to give it the long run so that it can ease up, and then gently start to pulling it back and not have to force the fish and start breaking something or bending a hoop open, or just something that can go wrong when you're fishing too heavy. So yeah guys, that's what's amazing with this coming back to the extra heavy, great all-rounder for non-heads. I can pair it up with any of these reels, anything from a 10,000 to a 20,000, and works perfect for league fishing, personal fishing, or social fishing, targeting larger fish. But most of the time I use it to throw like medium type of baits and like a medium heavy setup, and yeah, it's just it's amazing rod. I love it. I'll never go to a league fishing competitively without this rod. It's always there, always. Usually my combination for leagues are either definitely my XH, my double XH, and then either my heavy or my Evo heavy, depends on where I'm fishing. Right, so now we're basically out of the all-rounder section and out of the multi-purpose rods. These two are your heavy rods. These are the big bad boys of the Horizon range. They've got one purpose and one purpose alone. That is to catch big fish, big non-edible fish. So what do you require to catch big fish, big non-edible fish? You require a big reel with 65 pound, minimum 50 pound, 50 pound, 65 pound, 80 pound. That's what you're going to use on these bad boys. You're going to need to throw big baits, you're going to need to throw them full, and you need to throw them with ease. And once you hook that fish, you need to pull it. And this is what both of these rods can do. I'm going to talk about them together. And because you have the same functionality, there's just different circumstances where you will maybe use the triple XH over the double XH. I love both of these rods. The double XH basically is what I'll use when I fish in the surf for big raggies, big black rays, big bronzies, and you need to wade quite deep and then cast a big bait. Because it's 15 foot, it throws a bit easier in the surf, generally for most of the guys. But I found that with my triple XH being 14 foot, I don't lose any distance with big baits, or when I'm wading neck deep or shoulder deep in the water. My triple, I still get the same distance, or get quite a good distance with my triple XH in the surf. But predominantly the 15 foot double XH is designed as, you know, the big boy of the Horizon range, targeting big fish and throwing big baits, and especially in the surf. And recently they've added the triple XH. I think it's rated 8 to 10 ounces. Where is that? Yeah, it's rated 8 to 10 ounces. But I'm sure you're never going to throw a 10 ounce on it with a bait. You're going to throw probably 7 and 8 ounces. Most of the time I throw 8 ounce with a big bait. And this is what you're going to use off the rocks when you really need to bully a fish. You really need to pull it really hard. And throwing massive baits on this thing. Guys, I've thrown some seriously big baits on this. And it throws it easy. And when you feel this rod, compared to the XH and compared to the double XH, it feels a lot stiffer, like a lot stiffer. There's a massive jump in the backbone and in the stiffness of the rod from the double XH to the triple XH. Now this was quite a concern for a lot of guys, that it's too hard, it's gonna be bad on your back, it's gonna cause you a bit of strain on the back, and yeah, make you a bit sore in the lower back. But that's not the case. With this rod being 14 foot, it's a bit shorter, it gives you more pulling power on the rod, and it's not as bad on the back as you think. I've used it for big bronzes. I've got some black rays on it, and haven't hit my back at all. I haven't felt like it's overkill or too bad on my back. Actually, to me it almost feels like there's a little bit less strain on my back, and just an absolutely beast of a rod. I'm seriously in love with this rod. Like I said, it throws a big bite really easy, and I usually fish 65 pound or 80 pound on it. So yeah guys, just a little bit of technical info on the Horizon series and why they are the flagship of the Assassin range surf rods. You'll see the rods have ratings like or different series: G series, P series, and E series, S series, and P series being the flagship of the rods. The P series has basically got all the best components and made out of the best materials. So your Horizon Zero range is the P series, like I mentioned. It comes out standard with your Fuji guides, Fuji tangle free guides. These are the SIC inserts, so it's a much smoother insert, and it just allows your braid to last longer with going in and out of the guides. Also comes fitted with the new improved Assassin bionic finger. It's a slightly shorter here. It's closer down to the spool. Fuji reel seat. Really nice stainless steel trim here at the back, and most important part of this whole the rod, why it's a much better rod in my eyes, is the fact that it is made from HMC 2, and the previous Horizon is made from HMC, which is high modulus carbon. The high modulus carbon 2 that is used for the Horizon Zero series is not only 10% lighter than the HMC 1 or the previous HMC, it's also 10% stronger, which makes it a little bit more robust, and the carbon opposed to graphite is not as brittle, and the rod can take some punch. Believe me, I fell a couple of times with these rods, and tried to throw them off with big bites. Not going to happen. So yeah guys, I know this was quite a long video and a lot of babbling from my side, but like I said, it's a very comprehensive topic. I can't fit it all in one video, and I can't go in too much details of the different rods. I hope this video gave you guys some insights on what rod and what combination to use for a specific fish or a specific targeted species that you are fishing for, and to get the most out of your combinations. I know it's a lot of information, and there's still a lot more that can be discussed. Like I said, this is not going in too deep discussions about the rods. It's just what I use and what I use them for. It was really just a quick rundown. I don't know, even maybe I skipped a lot of stuff, but if you guys have any questions, please ask them in the comment section below. I will try to respond to all of them, or the most of them. And yeah guys, like I said, I do use a bit of the pin reels and stuff, so this is just really my preferred tackle. There's some really awesome rods out there as well. I just like to stick with the Assassin range, and with the Shimanos, I know what I have in them. I've been using them for years, and these setups are just the ones that I most frequently use. And yeah, you need to, the only way you're going to really know what suits your style of angling is experience. The more you fish, the more experience you'll gain, the more you'll start to get a feel for a rod or a reel and the combination. What do you require actually from a rod? Do you want something more stiff? Do you want something softer? Do you want to throw further? Is the rod too long because you're throwing close in the gutter? Is the rod too short because you need to throw a bit further out to a bank? All sorts of stuff like this. And you're going to use bigger baits, smaller baits, everything you need to incorporate in your style of fishing. And what do you prefer, and what is the end goal? What do you want out of the rod, and what do you want to target? And like I said, guys, please remember, there's no such thing as a one rod can catch everything. There's a good all-rounder rod in the different categories. As I said, your light setups, your medium setup, medium heavy setups, and then your heavy setups. And it just depends on how you're going to use your rods, what combinations and stuff you're going to, and what combinations you're gonna use and what you want to use it for. So yeah, guys, I really can't wait to get out and to catch some fish for you guys. Check out for the next series of videos. I'm going to do a whole series on sliding and sliding techniques. I'm going to show you guys how to make your own wind on. I'm going to show you the tackle and the gear that I'm used. Then we're going to move away from the grinder setups, and we're going to go over to multiplier setups and how I slide and what's my sliding techniques, traces, leaders, mainline, backing, everything. And then eventually, when we get out of this lockdown, I'm going to make a video on actually fishing with the slide, how to get your slide down more effectively, how to make your bait so that it slides better, quicker down, and not to tangle up. A lot of tips and tricks that I can show you guys. Hopefully there's some fish still around. We've had amazing weather the last few days. It killed me to sit indoors, but hopefully before the winter is pulling in and before we need to start fishing for galjoen and Bellman and Stellas and Cobb, which I'm excited about as well. I can't wait to throw some lures. I'm going to make some videos on lures in the future, throwing for Cobb in the surf. I've done one last year. I'm going to do one again, definitely, because I absolutely love it. There will be the normal Stellas, galjoen, crackers, Cobb, all those edible species. We're going to target those now in the winter. So yeah, guys, if you want to see all this, please subscribe to my channel and check out my playlist. It's something that I haven't talked about quite a lot in my videos. Go and check out on my channel. There's certain playlists or different playlists with edible fishing, non-edible fishing, tackle Tuesdays, baits, tips and tricks, and all sorts of stuff. You can go into those playlists and you can watch them. It's just easier for you guys to find the information. That's where I'll add another playlist. It will either be called slide techniques or whatever. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Please be safe and stay indoors so that we can go and fish. Please, 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 I ask you, I want to go fishing. So yeah, guys, not to miss out in any future videos, please click on that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, that little bell icon, click that thing. You'll get notified once I upload a new video and you won't miss out on it. Cheers, guys, stay safe.